The search for the next Pope and Young buck starts now. Well, hey, welcome. We're going in today to get the cards, start pulling the cards on all the cameras so we can do up the hit list, see what bucks we have this year that we might want to chase. Also, I want to get an inventory of does so I can fill that freezer. So let's jump into this. Well, just made it to the first camera, and it had, I think you can see it there, I'm sure. It has 40-some pictures on it. Now this is put on a trail. This one's put on a trail. This camera's on a trail, so I didn't think there would be a lot, but we're going to go on up to the next ones. Okay, well, we're at the second location. We're going to pull 3 cameras here. We've already pulled 3, so we get these here, and then we got one more. Now, I want to take a minute to tell you, it's real important. If you're going to leave your cameras out, these cameras have been out since June. So what I forgot to mention earlier was, you'll probably see me carrying a backpack. I carry a big package of batteries. I carry, I don't know how many SD cards, because I try to keep at least 2 cards per camera. I've got water, and then I've got I've got the little screw-in things where you can position the cameras at different angles and things like that. I've got the padlocks and things like that. So let's get these cameras. I'm excited about getting home and checking all these cards out. Well, here we are. It's time to put the hit list together. We went in the last week of August, pulled all of our cards in Kentucky. It was a total of, I think, 12 cards on 6 different properties to put together the hit list. We do have a couple bucks I think will make that 125 margin, and that's where we're going to get started. Okay, well, our first picture, you can see the deer there in the corner. I'm going to get the little mouse there. He is wide. See what our next picture gives us. Okay, that was the only picture we had of that deer. I'm going to go back for a minute and show you what I'm looking at. That deer is wide. Of course, he is in velvet. If you notice, the antlers go out way past the ears. Now, one of the things I use to try to judge if that deer is going to possibly make that 125 mark is the length of that main beam. Does that main beam come out and curl past his ears? If it can go a couple inches past, an inch or so past his ear, and then if it goes, how far out it goes. If it goes out to, to where the nose starts, where the black starts on the nose, or how far out it goes. Of course, the other times also play a factor in that, but that could be a possibility of a deer, of one that might, be one we could take that would make our 125 mark. This looks like a young deer. I put him on here just really to show the difference. He's a young deer, but he's looked like he's got good development. Here's another picture of him. If you notice, the times are long. This is a better picture. I really would like to see this deer on the hoof and see what he does, or what he really looks like. Of course, he's in velvet, so it's kind of hard to tell. That's another picture of him. You can see there how the antlers, it doesn't look like the antlers, the main beams really have developed enough yet. I'm going to say that deer might be a 3.5 at the most. Here's a different deer. Again, you look at the ears, look at the antlers. This is a possibility, again, another young deer. I don't know how well these deer are showing up on the screen. That one deer facing us, that one buck facing us, I don't think he's going to make it. You see him there from the back. You see how high up that comes? So, again, it's going to be one of those judgment things. You never know. I mean, one of the things I use to help judge, my son Peyton, a few years ago, he shot a buck that we all thought would make the minimum, and it actually missed it by 1/8 of an inch. The gentleman measuring it for Pope and Young measured that deer like 3-4 times and just could not get that other 1/8 of an inch. But he does. This buck has more of a high antler, high rack, so there is a good possibility. I'd like to see another picture of him with the ears. You can see that right ear, how the bend and that, so he's going to be close. This buck here, I think it's the same buck we seen last time. It looks like it's got the high rack. I do like the time length on the G2s. He does look fairly wide for the inside. Still another young buck. Now this buck here I think would definitely make the list. You notice how, well, I don't know, now I look at him, I'm looking at him on the TV and look at him compared to the computer. If you look, the ears should be about 16 inches wide, all right, tip to tip. And his antlers don't look like they really make it that wide. So I'm going to say this deer is probably not going to make it. Again, another 8-pointer. This is one, that picture there ain't too good, but this is one, excuse me. Just to show you this deer here, you see the antlers. See how the ear looks like it's out and the antlers go past the ear? So that's one, you know, that's just the way we judge, or I judge him. That lets me know he's got a good wide base, so he's probably got a inside spread of about 16 plus. The other deer in the front there, you can't really tell. Okay, we hit a bachelor group come in. So we'll start with the deer here facing us. Looking at him, there's a possibility he might be the one that ran. Then it's kind of hard to see this one over here, but I don't think he'll make it. And then the one over here, based on what I'm seeing there, I don't think he'll make it either. The deer there in the center, that might make it. And here they are going up, some bucks we caught going up a trail. The deer there in the middle, no, he's not going to make it. The one in the back, can't tell. Well, that one in the middle is going to be close. But you can see here, this is another nice thing about cameras. We actually put this camera on this property. We found a trail. That trail, there's actually a trail there. And we decided to put that camera there and just see what was using that trail. And we've been really, you know, we found more pictures than just this here. We had deer coming over the ridge down and then going past the camera, going left and right. You can see here they're going down. So that's an area we're really starting to study now and watch with cameras. Matter of fact, we ended up putting a camera down at the bottom of this ridge just to see what's filtering through there. This is another property. This deer here is probably not going to make it. As you can see there, he's short. That deer there, that's the first picture that I got of this deer. I think he's got a palmation starting. That one's not going to make it. That deer there looks like it might be pretty good. I'm looking. Again, that's going to be one I'm going to have to look at on the hoof and see. I'd say that's probably a 3.5-year-old deer. Okay, here's a real good example. This is a young deer. You can tell by the, you know, looks like it by the neck. He don't have that sag in his back. But look at the ears compared to the antlers. The antlers stick out way past the ears, and that's why I think this deer could be a possibility. It's going to count on his mass and also his time length. Now the camera's messed up, but this is actually July 28th. I did not, this camera here, something's happened to the, for some reason the date and time has quit working right, or the, yeah, date and time don't work right. We're going to have to replace this camera. There he is again, over on the left. There's another new buck there. We can't really get a good look at that buck yet. Still no really good look. Now here, I think this is the same one we seen earlier, because this young buck got that big, those big G2s. G3s look good. See there, see how wide he is. You got this, and that's why I like, I'm always hoping to get multiple angles of a deer. Actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and start naming these deer or so, just so I can have folders on them, maybe try to track them year by year. But in this area, a lot of deer, by the end of gun season, a lot of our bucks are gone because it gets pressured so heavy. But if you look at this deer, like I said, looking at the ear, see how the rack comes way out. Look at the tips of the antlers. Tips of the antlers are way out there good too. Eye guards are real high. That almost looks like that could be an offspring of one of the deer my son shot. Remember the big buck my son shot a few years ago? Got those long eye guards. That's a characteristic of one my son shot. The G1s, G2s look like they were growing pretty good and fairly wide, so I would be excited to see that deer on the hoof and, you know, maybe end up putting an arrow in him. This deer here is not going to make it. I got the deer over here. He's probably not going to make it, and there's not a good enough shot of the one over there to the right browsing to tell. Now there's that deer we was talking about earlier. See the ears again, G1s. There you go, there's another look at him. Gives you an idea of how he looks. Here we got a little bachelor herd. The deer in the center there is your best one. What we got is we've got a mineral block at the base of that tree. That's why all the deer are going by that tree. Again, real wide. Don't see the tips, so that tells me, you know, that he could be worth a look at. Here's a younger deer. Over to the left, you see the deer we was talking about earlier. The one there to the right, can't really tell a lot about him to decide what to do. There's that one again, the one we've been talking about. He's been on this property. You know, like I said, you look at the eye guards, look at the ears. See how the ears, where the bends in. I would say that deer's probably going to be 17, 18 inches wide right there. You know, so there's, and then tip to tip, I'm going to say maybe 13, 14 inches. Okay, you see the deer there near the tree. It looks like he's got a palmation. I haven't been able to get a real good picture of this deer, but I'm hoping to get one. I want to see this deer. I'd really like to. I've never shot a deer with a palmation, and I would like to take one, but you know, for what we're doing now for the video, trying to get a 125 or bigger or a Pope and Young, don't know if it's going to happen. The deer over here to the left is a young deer. He's not going to make it right now, but if he can make it through a couple of seasons, it looks like he might have potential. There's the deer with the palmation. Again, got the head moving. That's the deer we was talking about earlier, I think, that we talked about that I really want to see that could be an offspring of the one my son shot. It's going to be a 9-pointer. Right, I'm sorry, 8 to 9 point deer. Now here you got the two, and the one over here to the left, that's the one I think we've been looking at, because you see the bent eye guards, and that's probably what I'm going to end up calling him, is bent, because he's got those bent eye guards. The one to the right, as you can tell, he's got more of a higher rack. I'd have to see him on the hoof or see some more pictures of him to really decide whether or not I want to shoot him or not. Now here's a different picture. See, the one's got the palmation there. On the one over there to the right's got the palmation. Like I said, I'd really like to see that deer on the hoof and see what he looks like. This is just on a road, an old road bed. That was about the only picture I've seen on there. Going back, I want to go back to these deer here. That's the same one. That's that one with the palmation. He's wider than I thought he'd be. But where he's got that palmation, that could be a deduction. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to freehand this and talk. Hopefully I don't make you too sick. This is the deer I was talking about that missed it by 1/8 of an inch. Now, if you look, you see where the tips of the ears are compared to the antlers. They're right there at that bend, okay? And that's about a 16, 17 inch spread right there. The eye guards are a little off, which that was a deduction. But then you look at the main beams, how they come out. They come out, and if you drop them down, let's see if I can get over here and do this. I don't know how I can do this. Hang on just a minute. I'm trying to do this without making you too wheezy. Okay, if you take, well, see, you got the main beam tip here, and you come down, and it comes down about halfway to the nose. same way. It comes down about halfway here. So if the tips will come down about here, if they come out to here, you definitely know. You know, the further down this nose, that means the longer the main beam. Like I said, I go a lot by the ears and the main beam. Of course, your other times are going to play a factor in there, but that gives you an idea. Now I'll show you something here. I'm going to show you. This is the one my son shot a couple of years ago. Again, try not to make you too sick. But you see how it's got the bent eye guards. The one deer I told you we seen where it had the big tree, it's got that bend. Those eye guards are coming up. So I'm thinking that deer might be an offspring to this deer here. Okay, well, that has it. You see what we're looking at. I've got out of the three properties out of the 6, I've got deer that are potential Pope and young deer. And you know as well as I do, once these bucks start cruising, end of October, 1st of November, there's a possibility more of them could show up. Those deer could leave. I mean, that's part of the game. But that's what I'm looking at, is those deer. Basically, I've got about 4 deer altogether, 3 to 4 deer altogether that I'm looking at. So, Kentucky, season starts in Kentucky. I think it's the first weekend of September. I think it's September 7th or something like that. So see how warm it is. The beans and corns have not started coming out yet. A lot of the properties I'm hunting on have beans, and there is corn around, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So until next time, good hunting. Well, hey, I just want to take a moment and thank you for watching this video. I urge you to please, if you would, help me out if you would subscribe to the channel by either clicking the subscribe button or the little watermark over here in the corner. Also, if you want to be notified every time we post new content, click on the bell. I would really appreciate your comments, questions, or concerns. It would help me out a lot. Thanks for watching.